Now, then the second part is you want to begin to introduce the character building part. Character building. We know very well that from 0 age to about 14 years old, dad and mom or the caretaker really can shape the personality of a child. When I teach the program called the Super Teen Boot Camp, I always ask dad and mom, by the time your child is 18 years old, what would you want your son to be? What would you want your daughter to be? I said, be a scholar, be an officer, and be a gentleman or a lady. But how do you do that? So during the early stage, you want to develop an all-rounder personality. So I'm going to just share with you 5 out of the 10 attitude that I wanted the children to have. Number 1 is the attitude of gratitude. So I always tell them that I'm a smart kid, I'm grateful, I listen to teachers, dad and mom. Now, having that attitude of gratitude is very important because you don't want them to grow older and older and go further and further away. But many of the times that when we see teenagers, they move away from us. Why? Because we have not inculcated this at an early stage. Number 2, it is I always do the best. Now, if everything they do the best, I always emphasize that when you do the best, it is a way that you respect yourself. It's not a question of dad and mom want you. It's when I honor my work, when I actually respect my work, I do the best. So the third point is that I help myself, I help others. This is a very important character building. Why? Because I must first help myself before I can help other people. But dad and mom, have you come across children who are like that? They are actually very busy helping other people to do well, but they forgot about themselves. Then the fourth point is that I complete my task, I achieve success. So they must complete the task. If they don't complete the task, how would they be able to achieve success? But then if you actually introduce this idea in the early stage, they will know that they need to do well in their work, and then they can move on to the next one. Now, the fifth point is, I am special, I'm unique. It's a very important concept so that I don't need to compete with other people in terms of how I look, in terms of my size, my nose, my eyes. So when a child is very comfortable with this, they will have higher self-esteem. When they have higher self-esteem, they can accept themselves. Now, so speaking of the ideas of self-esteem, is an idea that I am lovable, I can love myself, I can accept myself. There are 7 parts to accept ourselves. I'll talk about this one at the next presentation. But then they need to know another one is I'm capable. Are you equipping your child to be capable to do well in this job called study? I came across many parents. Some of them will tell me that studying is not important. Now that is not very true because in our context, in our modern day context, you need to study something. And in primary school, it's even more important than secondary school. If your foundation is no good, it is quite difficult for you to move on to the next one.